Howdy, folks. Welcome to the channel Rockin' the Country. I'm Don. Episode 6 of 6 of country music, the history of country music in photographs. It's really been told through the literal and metaphorical lens of the photographers. And the photographers are telling much of the story. Of course, artists are being interviewed and talked about and all this stuff. But this is just fascinating. So, and it's a gift request of Renee Mooberry. So, Renee, thank you for this gift, for this documentary. It's about 90 minutes long, and I broke into 6 parts of roughly 15 minutes each. So this is part 6. I'm so curious to see where this thing goes. Thank you again, Renee. All right, guys, here we go. Part 6.
Got a date a week from Friday.
These days, you're supposed to be an actress and a model. You're supposed to know how to express all of these feelings that are inside of you in so many different mediums.
This is fitting.
Feel free enough to expose yourself and be that vulnerable.
I probably wouldn't be this way.
Leanne and I, we stepped out of the box on the very first video we did. She came up with the premise and trusted me as a director to let her go to that place and be real, to keep it real. I love being able to go back and forth between music videos and photography, but they're very different approaches. Music videos are very structured, whereas photo shoots are very spontaneous. You can go wherever you want to go, where the light is taking you, where the artist is taking you. My first professional photo session with Ryan Adams' Heartbreaker. It was an intense, amazing 2 hours, and it was a pretty great way to start. I photographed Jamie Johnson for Rolling Stone. He was a huge Waylon Jennings fan, and he had just purchased Waylon's Cadillac. Even with stills, I like to keep the artist moving because that's when you get that spontaneity. I was backstage with Eric Church. There was a little bit of time before the show, and there was a bar across the street, and the lighting was amazing. You only have a very limited time with the artist. You'll walk in totally cold, under the gun to get a great shot, and trying to establish that rapport right away, to get that natural feeling moment in 10 minutes. But when you actually can go out with the artist and hang out with them, that's when you get the most natural, real photographs. Like Emmylou Harris at Lawrence Records in Nashville. She got a big thrill out of going in and checking out all the vinyl. I'm trying to help create the vision they have for themselves. And that comes from listening to the music and then capturing the essence of the moment of the artist. Even an icon like Dolly, she's already Dolly when she walks in, but she puts her trust in you to create a great portrait, capture a moment. And I think a lot of music photographers secretly wanted to be artists. And is there anything cooler than being in the studio with one of your heroes? You can actually take a photograph. Willie, he's got such an amazing face. It's not hard to take some really great shots. They're legends, they're icons, but I do get to work with new artists who have their own voice, who have their own style. Like Casey Musgraves backstage at Bonnaroo, having fun with the image. I want a great shot, and I'm not afraid to try anything. Especially with artists who have a uniqueness in their sound and in their visuals, and get it, and stand up for it.
The spirit of the song guides our style. It's the visual extension of our music. We grew up on rock and roll and country, and our songs really are a blend of both of those genres.
Our musical style is very traditional. The three of us grew up loving Loretta Lynn, Johnny Cash, Patsy Cline.
And we maintain a lot of the traditional country songwriting. But when we record our songs, we take a lot of cues from modern music. And we like to make our songs as big as they possibly can sound.
Whatever we are portraying, whatever story we're telling, we just hope that folks get the spirit behind it and the authenticity.
As a musician, you hope to create moments, and people can relate to your music better if they can relate to your whole image. I love to get decked out and wear fun heels and dresses, but it doesn't really fit with the type of music that I'm doing. So on stage, I wear these jeans, these boots, and a black t-shirt. Simple Americana branding, but everyone has their own thing. You've got people doing very edgy fashion. You got the more bedazzled guys, then you've got the simple guys with cowboy boots and jeans.
Today, I've seen people walk out on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry in a pair of jeans and a baseball cap. I didn't come to the Opry to get an oil change.
Although country music is very popular now, the music is not the same, the culture is not the same. The bands today have marketing teams. They have investors. It's a whole business. They call some places honky-tonks now, and they are physically, but it's a different audience. Trout's in Bakersfield is one of the classic places of country music. It's a remnant of what used to be one of the last honky-tonks. It's an older crowd. There are people who are going out for a night on the town. It's people who come out to see Red Simpson. He's one of the originals, and they remember him. These places are going to disappear, but this is where the music's from, and it's part of the story.
Going back, I think there was something that was different that people gravitated to. When you look back at some of those 60s, 70s records, there was some great concept photography.
There you go, Ed.
They went out on locations, they thought about wardrobe, and the photo shoots were addressing the themes of that record, whether it was songs of the railroad or gunfighter ballads.
Those artists didn't have the bleached teeth and the faux 5 o'clock shadow and the, buff bodies. They had talent like you can't believe, and when you saw their pictures, it was beautiful.
I just remember listening to an entire album and never putting down the album jacket, looking at that cover and looking at the pictures on the back the entire time.
Wow.
When you look at photos like the famous Johnny Cash one with the middle finger, the look on his face, that said it all.
That's the one image by the great Jim Marshall that summed up Johnny Cash, defying the establishment. And it's a reminder about how powerful an image can be. I actually met Johnny Cash. It was the week after June had passed, and I took some portraits of Johnny. He was in a wheelchair, but he was recording with Randy Scruggs and Marty Stewart.
Toward the end of his life, the work order became keep JR entertained. And so in the bedroom of the Cash home, we set up microphones and had recording sessions because music was what he was holding on to. At one of those sessions, the afternoon light started coming in on his back, and he looked like an old president. I said, JR. And he sat up straight and he gave me that look. And I took the photograph. It's the last portrait. He was John R. Cash, JR, Ray and Carrie's boy from Arkansas.
Wow. Wow. That was a little choked up.
This music, at its best, is taking what seems personal and presenting it in a way that becomes universal. And that's why country music happens all over the world. And to a lot of people, it embodies the best parts of America.
I played from Denmark to Amsterdam to Italy to Spain, all these places. And the people in Europe are so into the stories and the songs of country.
I had people from Korea, from Poland, say, we learned to speak English listening to your music. I sang in Morocco. 130,000 people sang along with all the songs. I did a thing called Glastonbury. 180,000 young people knew all the music.
We go to many countries and sell out performances all over the world.
Isn't it amazing how the artists, though, they're gauging the temperature of the audience? I mean, it makes sense, right? When you're talking about it and you're thinking about it, it makes sense. But in the moment, though, when you look and you see all these people, and Kenny knew that they knew the lyrics, and he knew that they were young. Like, they're taking in their audience, and that is just, they're not there just for a paycheck, because other performances, they're going to be applying what they learned, what connected and what didn't connect, and that's part of cutting your teeth when you're younger, a newer artist. But I love that stuff, that even Kenny knew these different places where he's like, they don't speak that language, and they knew all my songs. It's like, what a difference that is. When you're in America or Canada or Australia and they know your songs, that's English. Of course they know them. Others, they still know them. I love that.
And there are artists today that have taken country music to where we took it and beyond.
People have always said, what's happening to country music? But country music can do anything it wants to do, as long as the roots of country music are felt.
Success means you hang on to your roots and grow from there and branch out.
Everybody's voice is so important. We have to have the people who are pushing the boundaries, and we have to have the people who are pulling it back to the center. Everybody's needed.
Thank you. That's what we're doing.
people tell me the music that's going on today is not country music, and I beg to differ. These kids are living their dreams. They're singing it the way they feel it.
We love the stories of country and embrace a lot of the traditions and try to bring it back around.
Somebody's got to do something different, and it takes someone who's strong enough or unique enough to do something that people will go, wow.
Taylor Swift has helped propel country music into the forefront.
Taylor Swift represents a new kind of authenticity that hasn't been in country music before. She is a deft blend of traditional country with the mainstream appeal of pop music.
And for her to keep challenging herself musically, it had to go somewhere.
Losing him was blue like I never known. Missing him was dark gray all alone.
Taylor Swift, she had a great band. She sang great songs. She changed wardrobes. She flew across the stage, and she communicated with that audience. That's not exactly how Patsy Cline did it. That's okay, because Patsy Cline didn't do it exactly like Mother Maybelle.
Yeah. Taylor has a lot of ideas, and so we were backstage, bouncing ideas off each other. She was totally game to try anything. But there's something about that gaze, that simple, honest look, and that's your goal.
Loving him is like driving a new Maserati
To capture the essence of that personality.
Photographs grab a moment, and the photograph is one way to look at the lifespan of country music from its early roots to what it is today.
When you start thinking maybe things weren't a certain way, you look at those pictures and say, well, yeah, they really were that way, weren't they?
Cowboy boots and rhinestones and big hair. All of those pictures explain what people thought about country music and where it came from.
We need to know who brought us to the dance and to learn the great history of our musical family.
Each artist has to stand out to make the image revealing so that it never fades away.
The camera gives a photographer a chance to represent them so that the public can see who they really are.
The people who last the longest are what they present, and they don't vary from who they are.
These are the alchemists, these are the magicians, and nothing has ever moved me the way music does. It's songs that get me.
Country music is what moves you, and if something moves you in the rap world, the rock world, they stole it from us.
Country photography has such an interesting arc, and being let behind the curtain over the decades is very powerful and exciting.
Country has always been like a church. It's got to figure out constantly how to honor its values and stay true to itself, but grow and evolve.
Country music was stories about working people and what they did. It was music to drink to, cry over, fight over, and be nostalgic.
I love that perspective a couple minutes ago of, expanding, because things do change, but I think it was Keith who was talking about it, but you got to have people who bring it back. That's what I'm doing here on the channel. I don't begrudge people for moving on. Like Nashville pop country is the halfway house to traditional, like from rock to pop country back to traditional country. That's the impetus of the name of the channel, Rock into Country. I went from rock into country, and my early country was Nashville country. And when I started the channel, you guys were like, oh, Don, the way you like lyrics, you've got to listen to this senior song. You've got to listen to that. I already knew Merle, but you got to listen to this Patsy song or whomever, or Gene Watson. And I already liked Don Williams, but I just got hooked on the traditional. And that's me calling people back to the traditional country roots. Even though I didn't grow up on it, it's not hard to see the progression. Now we're reverse engineering social constructs, if you will, where it's like, all right, guys, I know you like Nashville stuff. I know you might like Florida Georgia line, but if there's any depth that you like in the lyrics, go back and listen to a Don Williams song or whomever. But the traditional roots are there, and that's yeah. All right. Oh, Tootsie's! I stopped right in a good moment.
I'll joke about.
All these artists and all these images shape people's perception of country music and country lifestyle. But it's really about what it does to your heart when you look at something.
Music is a conversation, and it's the greatest healing force in the universe.
Everybody gets their heart broke. Everybody wants something that they can't have. And these are the things that we sing about. Country music is the cry of the heart.
It will touch you and absolutely meet you with the truth. That's what Harlan Howard called country music, 3 chords and the truth.
It's that desire to believe something's genuine, sincere, and absolutely honest. That's what drives country music, and that's what people look for in a country song.
Oh, it's over.
Country is sitting on the back porch. Listen to the whippoorwill.
Let's watch the credits too.
Late in the day. Country is minding your business, helping a stranger. It becomes your way. Country is living in the city, knowing your people, knowing your kind.
All right, I'll let this all play in the background. I mean, it says here there's like 4 minutes left or 3 minutes left, but Renee, that was special. And we got Dwight sighting or 2 in there. I got to go back and look. I didn't know if they showed a quick shot of Frankie Ballard or not, because I knew Frankie. I was friends with Frankie before he even had a songwriting deal, just because we knew each other through a ministry out in Indianapolis or Bloomington at the time. And he came down from Michigan with some of his friends, and then I went out from Jersey on my own just because I was friends with the guys who had founded it. You know, I'd befriended him, and then it turned out that Eddie DeBrule, who happened to have been the bass player for Jerry Lee Lewis, was also there. Very small organization, too. I mean, and there was a summer camp that went on for a week, and I'd go out there and I would teach and just be a part of it and work with the younger kids, so to speak, just hang out on a certain level. And there were only maybe 125, 150 people who would go, this, 20-acre campground type thing. And it was very, very cool. Some of my best friends that I still have in my life, even though I'm no longer part of the ministry, so to speak, are from there. And that's where I'd met Frankie. But I got to go back and look and see if that was his image. But in any case, that just enlightening, spoke to my heart. The people who got to bring back country music, back to its traditional roots. That was a wonderful way of wording it. And that's what we're doing. So, all right, guys, that goes in the documentary playlist. Renee Mooberry out there in Vegas, but she's a Louisiana girl. Thank you for this. Have a wonderful day, folks. I'll see you on another video, and keep rocking to traditional country.
I photographed Jamie Johnson for Rolling Stone. He was a huge Waylon Jennings fan, and he had just purchased Waylon's Cadillac. Even with stills, I like to keep the artist moving because that's when you get that spontaneity.